Hello, everybody. Good morning. I'm very happy to participate in this very interesting conference. And thank you very much for the invitation, the coordinators. I'm going to talk about education, so I will take you back into the environment of the university. And I'm going to talk about how to teach ethics in our classroom. So ethics is the basis for any anti-fraud prevention schemes. So what we have seen so far that from many standpoints, there are efforts to establish anti-fraud policy. So we see European Union, how they issue their guidance, the guides, national governments with national transparency authorities and private companies, they establish or they apply the risk management frameworks. So let's see what is going, especially in the public sector. I think the new public management has been trying to put the public sector in the tracks of the private companies. So they want to bring accountability, transparency, efficiency, and effectiveness into the way that the public sector operates. So this is why they have started to input the international public sector accounting standards into the financial systems, and to also apply risk management and internal audit. So this is more and more intense into the public sector already. The point is that apart from applying all these frameworks, we need to find ways to prevent fraud. And since we know that tomorrow all the business executives in the private and the public sector will come from our students today, what we have to do is to strengthen their moral and ethical identity. So we have to do it now to start and think how we can shape their moral identity. So the way forward is how to teach ethics, and not just ethics, a series of other skills, because ethics is not, ethics behavior is not enough. A person has to have other skills in order to be able to stand up and speak when the time comes, like skills like communication skills, interpersonal skills, like leadership skills. So these are also very, very important. So far, the educators in business and accounting, they already have accepted the responsibility to create not just financial experts, but also to develop the intellectual capacities for ethical discernment, analysis, judgment, and reflection in their students. So we know this responsibility, but big question is, can ethics be taught? We say that because so far, teaching ethics has been and continues to be problematic in schools, because not everybody accepts that ethics should be taught, and not everybody have the same expectations when we talk about teaching ethics. So in order to go through this question, maybe we should rephrase and ask, how can ethics be taught to business and accounting students so that effective learning can take place? First, we need to agree which are the objectives and what we want to achieve. What kind of graduates do we have? This is not so obvious. But if we look around and we see the economic scandals that happen in every public or private sector, yes, we need to have ethics in the curriculum. But which way we should introduce ethics? A standalone ethics module, or should we integrate that into the curriculum within every course? So we ask this question because it is not straightforward. Within departments, there are always debates if we have to put ethics and how we are going to teach it, and in what ways. So these are things that we have to agree in advance. Just a very short reference to the ethical thinking process. Ethical thinking and moral development does not happen from one day to the other, or does not happen only when students finish a course in ethics. So this is a process, and Kohlberg has formulated a theory which was based on Piaget work, and he has formulated the 7 stages of moral reasoning, and I will go very, very quickly just to have an idea. So we have 3 general levels, like pre-conventional level, conventional level, and post-conventional level. So stage 1, to understand, is the basic stage, talks about punishment and obedience. So this is what push people to have a kind of ethical behavior. Stage 2 is about satisfying our needs, satisfying the other needs. So we should be good in order to satisfy our needs. And then stage 3 talks about good and a bad person. So we want to be good to the others. And stage 4 talks about law and order orientation. So post-conventional level talks about social contract orientation. Then we have universal ethical principle and cosmic ethical principle. What we understand that each successive level has a higher thinking order, takes us to a higher level. So research has shown that most of people, even managers, educated people, guess what? Which level would you say? Stage 5 is the maximum level that we go, most of us. So our moral and reasoning does not go further than stage 5, which means that we are not in such a good level. This is what we want to show. So developing moral reasoning is not so easy as it sounds. And even if we succeed in teaching business and accounting students to think about moral problems, then it's not sure, it's not guaranteed that when they are in a work environment, they will decide to do the right thing, because there are other characteristics that may influence their judgment, like locus of control, ego strength. So these are also important, and we're not really sure how the people will behave. So when we talk to pedagogy, current way of teaching is not the best way to improve moral reasoning to students, because lecturing and structured problems are not the appropriate way, because ethical problems are coming in an unstructured way, and they are not well defined. So this is the way of problems that new executives and employees will face when they start working. So we need somehow to change our pedagogy. So accounting education, we know that emphasizes technicalities. We know that is concentrated to find the correct answer. So we give structured problems and we ask students to find the correct answer. But here we don't have, in ethical problems, we don't have a correct answer situation. So what we should do is we should initiate our students to critical thinking and help them become what we say reflective practitioners. Very quickly, the pedagogical tools that we have to undertake when teach ethics, just read them. Case studies, you know that already, we know already, we have been using them for a lot of time. Reflective writing is something that we don't do, I think, in general, for many reasons. It's not so common. Class discussion also, it's not easy to do, especially when we have big size classes. It's not easy to start a conversation because everybody, all teachers say, I have a huge material to deliver. So there's no time. We don't give time to discussion, to reflection, and to presentations maybe. So games and role playing is also important. As I said before, we have to integrate ethics in every topic, not have it as a separate module. Guest speakers, of course, invite in the class, and online resources. And one more I would add here. Lately, we know there are many competitions, and pedagogy advises that we put our students into this situation to compete, and especially with people from other maybe disciplines and from other environments, so they can interact with other. What is the purpose? Here is the purpose is to arrive to what we say transformative learning. And transformative learning is learning that changes the way we see the world, not just repeat and memorize things. So here we want to make students to change what they know already from their environment. And usually what we say, okay, fraud is everywhere. It's not easy to stop this. And what can I do if my boss says do it, etc. So we want to change it and go into this transformative learning case. So here I will just mention one non-conventional pedagogy to teach ethics. It's a case study. Let's say it is about a teacher, an accounting teacher in Australia, and he was teaching ethics. So what did he do? He took his students to a field trip to a prison. But he didn't stop there, just take them to the prison and go back. So there are many things to do. So before going to the prison, students had to write, reflect, and articulate what they expected to gain from this trip. Then they went to the prison, they met with the offenders there, they had some kind of discussion. And after that, the students were required to reflect on the prison visit and to do the role play, to dramatize, and to do the self-assessment of their learning outcomes. So there is a process on these non-conventional pedagogies. And I'm going to mention, I don't know about the time. I need to finish, yes. Okay. So very quickly, I would say that the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners, in their last report, they talked about employees. So if employees would speak up and question unethical practices, many frauds could be prevented. So we have to help students or to form a personality that in the future they will speak up. So a way to do that is when we use this giving voice to values curriculum, GVV curriculum, that helps students in the future, students who lack the skills and confidence to speak up through a series of many workshops, exercises, cases, modules, scripts. Finally, what I want to say is that we have now the tools to non-conventional pedagogies. What we need to do as teachers is to insert in our everyday teaching little pieces of these new pedagogies. So this will hopefully will make a difference at the end. So I will stop here and thank you very much for listening.